Well, howdy, folks. Daryl Keith Norman again here. Coming to you from Nashville, where it's heat of summer. It's burning up down here. So, anyway, this week's song that we're going to do is called Bandwagon. I wrote it by myself. I think I remember when I had the idea, I called up a bunch of songwriter friends, but nobody had everybody was busy doing something, so I was like, well, I'll just write it by myself, because once you get it inside of you, you gotta get it out. So anyway, this is Bandwagon, written by myself, and I hope you enjoy it. We'll listen to the song and then come back on the other end and chat about it a little bit. All right, here goes Bandwagon.
I was 12 when the radio hit me. Guitars like a hammer and the music bit me. Me and Bobby said, hey, we can do that, and started a band collecting tips in a hat. Hopping on the bandwagon, starry-eyed kid out to get the girl. Hopping on the bandwagon, ready to change the world. It didn't take long for us to find us a groove, dancing till midnight with nothing to lose. I played every song till my fingers would bleed, lost in the moment, down on my knees. Hopping on the bandwagon, starry-eyed kid out to get the girl. Hopping on the bandwagon, ready to change the world. That's right. Oh, yeah. I'm still dancing, still romancing every girl in the room. Get such a thrill when the band starts playing a tune. Hopping on the bandwagon, starry-eyed kid out to get the girl. Hopping on the bandwagon, ready to change the world. Hopping on the bandwagon, starry-eyed kid out to get the girl. On the bandwagon, ready to change the world, ready to change the world.
Well, that was Bandwagon. I think it's kind of true to life to anybody who's decided to pursue their dreams in music. I hope you enjoyed it. Just a little bit of history. The first person that I ever felt was a kindred spirit was a guy by the name of Josh Bratton, and he and I would write our songs, and sometimes we wrote songs together and everything. I was playing piano for a group called the New Day Singers, and he was playing bass, and so we just hung out together, and we technically had a band. It was called Crystal Utopia. We had a great album cover a guy drew for us, but that's as far as that ever went. But we had a blast, and I will always treasure those memories. But when I moved to California, I ran into a guy by the name of Ken Ewing, and that was in 1979, and he and I just clicked, and he became my best friend, and he was one of my best friends for years until he died. but he would play guitar, and he had a piano over at his house, and I would sit and play piano, and he'd play guitar, and then we each kind of wrote our own songs. We didn't really write together till later, but he'd write his songs, and they were great little songs, and I'd write my songs, and he thought my songs were great. And so what we'd do is we'd go out to Lake Matthews out there at the edge of La Sierra, and there was a parking lot out there and a rock wall, and we'd sit on the rock wall and we'd sing our songs, and we'd open our guitar cases out there, and people come by and drop $1 in here and there, and we started saving that up to do a demo. And so we got a loan from Ken's stepdad, and he loaned us $500 to do our first demo. And we found a studio in San Bernardino, California, and we had no idea what we were doing. And there had been a bass player that had played for the Heritage Singers, and I'd done a couple shows with him for other projects. And so I called him up and I said, do you mind playing bass for us? And I think he charged us like $25 or something like that. And then I said, if you know a drummer, we really need a drummer. We were raised Seventh Adventist, so they didn't do drums in their music back then. And so I had never met a drummer. And so he called a friend of his by the name of Steve Latination, and Steve is here in Nashville now. This was out in California when we were doing that, but he's out here in Nashville too, and he still plays, and he's just wonderful at it. And so anyway, we rehearsed at the Riverside Church, and the night before, and then we went into the studio, and it took us like 12 hours to do 5 songs. Nowadays I do 6 songs in 3 hours, but that's when you're using professionals. Kenny and I didn't know a lick about what we were doing. This was our first time in the studio, and it was a big deal. It was a 16 track reel to reel that we were using, and fortunately the engineer, he knew what he was doing, and he kind of helped guide us through the day. But Kenny and I would be arguing over something or other, and Steve would balance his checkbook on the drum set, and so it was quite an experience. And so we got this first demo, and I listen back to it now, and it's like the songs are better now, and the playing's better now, and the performance is better now. But there was a certain excitement that I lost through the years. And I'd go back and listen to it every once in a while. It's like I really want to get that excitement of that first session in what I'm doing now. And we didn't know. We just did it because we loved it. So anyway, we got this demo, and we were sure we were gonna be the next Beatles. And we had us a band, and so we were working. Kenny had got me a job as a busboy at Don Jose restaurant there in La Sierra, and so we went to the manager there and we said, if you let us play in the bar, we'll fill this bar to the brim with people. And we played him our demo, and he kind of shook his head and he goes, man, the demo's really good. All right, I'll give you a Saturday night. It's our prime spot, and it's our busiest time, and you fill the club. And he didn't pay us. It was like we were only going to work for tips. And what we didn't realize was, for those of you who aren't aware of what the Seventh Adventists were, they didn't drink, they didn't smoke, they didn't eat meat. A lot of them didn't even eat meat, so we told everybody we were playing on Saturday night. Sure enough, we filled that place, 300 people, and all of them drank water and ate free chips and salsa. I don't think I've ever seen anybody so mad as the manager that night. He's like, we had 300 people in here, and our sales total came to $12.37. And, you know, somebody had bought a root beer or something. And he was so mad, and Kenny and I are sitting there. He's just chewing us out up one side and down the other. And we're like, yeah, but it was good, wasn't it? and he fired us, you know. But that was our first gig. I don't think we made any tips either. Administs aren't known for tipping. So anyway, that was our first gig, and I always think of that, you know. That's kind of what this song is about, because we didn't care. We didn't care if people didn't like it or not. We liked it. That's all that mattered. And so hopefully you've enjoyed Bandwagon and little history behind it there. Anyway, thank you for watching and subscribing and sharing, and I hope you have a good week. My contact information will be at the end of this. So anyway, have a great week. Bye-bye.